Good morning, it's afternoon, it's March 9th, 2013. This is a meeting of the Griggs County Commission. I'd like to call to order and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Groundhog's Day. Roll call. Avriel.
Here.
Tranby.
Here.
Zorn is absent, but I think he will call in possibly. Edlund.
Here.
And Wakefield is here. Approval of the agenda. Bob Hook wanted to be on for grants and then these sheriff's vehicles. Of course, the sheriff's vehicles and things like that. It's a budget item, so we will add him to talk about the grants, but not the vehicles. So I would need a motion to that effect once you've looked over the agenda to approve it and adding Bob to talk about the grant.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of grants.
Motion by Stephanie to approve the agenda with Bob Hook addition for the grants. Also, I see I got an email from the treasurer's office and she was not made aware of being on the agenda. So would we want to just remove her? So I need a, well, wait a minute. We have a motion on the table to approve the agenda. We'll need a,
I can continue because nobody seconded it yet, so I can add to it.
yeah, if we'll just let it die. We can let it die for lack of a second. And then we can start over and put it all into one.
Wait, okay.
So how do we let it die? Do we just restate a new motion then? Or?
No, if there's no second, it will die for lack of a second.
Okay.
So if I ask for a second, no one seconds it, I'll ask 3 times. If not, motion dies, and then we'll start over again.
Okay.
So we have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the grants by Bob Hook. Do I have a second to that? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Oh,
sorry.
to die.
Sorry, yeah, my mistake. I rescind that one.
Rescinded the second.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Just to be clear, do we have a second? Barring no second, the motion dies.
Okay.
Now,
The floor is now open to motions concerning the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of treasurer office update and adding grants from the sheriff's office.
So, we have a motion on the table, Stephanie, to approve the agenda with the addition of Bob Hook talking about the grants and removing the treasurer's office from the agenda. They were just gonna give an update, and that can take place other times. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Second by Tranby. Any discussion on this issue?
So this is just, he's gonna come in and discuss this with us then, or what?
The grant part.
Just the
Yeah.
grant part,
Yeah.
yes.
So it's just whenever he gets here type of deal?
Mhm.
Okay.
Looks like it, yeah, okay. Any discussion? Barring no further discussion, we will take a vote. All in favor of the motion on the table signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda approved, amended and approved. If you'll have a look at the February 23rd meeting minutes. So, to make things simpler, I've been, some people are having a tough time listening to the meeting and understanding what we're doing because of sometimes we get ahead of ourselves. So we need to make sure that the agenda item is described, then the agenda item is motioned on to move forward, then it's discussed, and then after discussion, it's voted on in that order. The meeting minutes are supposed to reflect agenda items that we acted on, correct? So if we have an agenda item that we didn't act on, it really doesn't need to be in the minutes, because we didn't do anything that's gonna affect it. So let's see if there's one in here.
What we've always done, if there was an agenda item and we decide to remove it, we would just add it in the minutes saying that, just so we reflected that we didn't skip over it, or.
But we
Or
acted.
tabled.
Or we tabled
But
it.
we acted on that. We just acted on removing that agenda item. There was a vote called. What I'm saying is, the meeting minutes don't need to reflect anything that wasn't voted on. We have always, whatever's on the agenda, even if there's no motions on it, we've always put it in there, even though there was a discussion, just so we had in the minutes that we discussed something, even though there wasn't any motions on it. I know, but as a political group, as an elected officials, we can only act via the consent of the majority. So what he might discuss, or I might discuss, doesn't have anything to do with the business of the county commission, because we only act as a group. That's why we shouldn't even discuss anything unless it receives a motion and a second. And then once it receives an motion and a second, then you have to vote on it. And then so if it's voted on, then it becomes part of the minutes.
What part in here is?
Oh, I don't see anything on this one, but I'm saying in the past, we've discussed things that we haven't ever taken any action on, and that isn't part of the business that was conducted.
I don't remember. I don't recall. I'll have to look forward for it.
Yeah.
Look to see if we catch it next time.
And the other thing, like the future business, the reason that's in there is because that does need to be voted on. So there's two ways to put items on the agenda, one by the chairman and one by a majority of the members. And so when we're doing that at the end of the meeting, that's to give the majority of the members the ability to add agenda items. So we should vote on that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chairman, quick question. How would you like the department heads to get it to the commission that we would like to be on the next meeting? What's the proper channel for that?
Well, what we've always done is just go through the chairman or at the, one of the members can bring it up during the.
Okay.
Either way, there's two different ways to do it.
Sounds good.
So basically, like what he gave us, you said we voted to add it to in the beginning, or we could, for future business, we can add it in the future business at the end of the meeting. That's what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Right. The way that most things get put on the agenda is they're brought to the auditor, and then the chairman just has to approve them. But I mean, I can't think of anything that hasn't been put on the agenda.
Okay.
Is
Just, I wanted to make sure I was understanding
Right.
that clearly.
but I mean, say there was something that well, I can't imagine what it would be, other than something that wasn't going to get to the auditor, or was something that one of you personally wanted as an agenda item. That would be the way to put it on the future business.
Okay.
It's just easier to go through the auditor because she's making up the agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and so that it remains fluid that way. And then the other thing that we're going to adhere to is, this is a public meeting, and we encourage everybody to be here, but it is not open for public comment, because what happens is both sides aren't given the same opportunity. So if we allow public, if we want public comment, then we should have an open meeting and we should advertise it. But to have people in attendance then give testimony or give comment doesn't do service to the people that didn't know about what was going to be discussed or didn't have the opportunity, or didn't think they had the opportunity to speak if they were here. So that's not going to be allowed anymore. Other than a person, like say it has to do with the auditor's office, of course the auditors would be giving testimony or giving their version of it. But to have people weigh in on a subject on either side is not the way we've got to do things, because again, not everybody is aware that they can weigh in. And so that we have to put a stop to, unless we want to have a public forum. We can have a town hall form of meeting, but we have to advertise it. Here's the subject we're going to discuss. You can get on the meeting agenda and discuss it, and then everybody on both sides has an opportunity to do that. So, other than that, I think if we just slow down a little bit and state what we're talking about and make sure that we're thorough on how we follow through with it, everybody will be able to listen to the meeting minutes and understand what's going on. So we were looking at the minutes, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the minutes and dispense with the reading.
Motion by Edlund to approve the minutes and dispense with the reading. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Averill. All in favor of the motions on the table signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. You'll take a look at the bills, offer any comment, changes or revisions. So are there any am I missing something here? How did I get put in order? Okay.
There, that's out of order.
Okay. So the first part of the bills are just a distribution to the other public entities. And actual bills before the commission to be paid are the last half, correct? Okay. Fargo Freightliner,
Yep. That's that snowplow truck that he did the ECU
I'll try.
computer.
McHenry Ambulance Service, is that an actual expense or is that supposed, is that tax money that's shared with them? Don't know. Do we have a claim voucher for it? Send me with it?
That's what Connie gave me, I believe. Oh, they're the one that's paid just once a year.
Okay. But I think, what did it come out of?
Took out of ES McHenry ambulance expense. That actually is its own GL code.
I can't see the code on
The 85-09- whatever that says ES McHenry and ambulance expense. That's the GL code. That's what she coded it to.
it. Let's hold off on that one till we get clarification if it's coming out of the, or do we have, I don't know if we have a service agreement with them or what we have.
They have part of our county. The ambulance and fire department has different sections.
Right, but then I'm thinking it should come out of
And then
the,
it comes in.
yeah, then it should come out of one of the tax, it should go into one of the taxing districts and out of the general expense of the county.
It's
Cooperstown
probably-
ambulance is there, and
It's probably coded.
Yeah,
It's probably coded to a different spot, perhaps.
perhaps, I don't know.
Do you want to double check with Sam when you can, just to see where to code it?
No, it's probably coded correctly, because it's got it, see, what tells me that it's a pass-through account is a negative balance over on the right-hand side.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
so it's a government entity account, it's not a budgeted account.
Yeah, the GL account you used.
Well, no, right, so if you see the negative numbers, that means it's, we're
Just-
working off what we she for them.
Yep, she didn't put a budget number in there, and it's just taken off like these ones are.
You're right, these aren't budget items.
Right.
With a negative, so that's
This
why I
is-
think this one isn't a budget item here, and it's probably not supposed to be into the general
Right,
fund. It's probably supposed to come out of a tax levy,
right.
is what I believe. And it's not gonna be a big deal if we hold that off for 2 weeks till we get clarification on that.
Is that the same with the Nelson Griggs Health District? That's an annual payment we send to them. Oh, wait, am I on the wrong page? Oh, you know what? No, never, you know what, I bet this is, I bet you money that this Macville ambulance should be on
Well,
this grouping, not
I'm glad that's what-
this grouping.
Because, see, this comes out of a levy fund that was levied other than general fund, that's general fund dollars.
These ones are, yep,
Right, yep,
yep,
but I don't know that for sure, but because we don't know it, let's just wait and
yep.
get it straightened out. And 2 weeks isn't gonna make any difference to that, we'll make sure it comes out of the right account.
Yep.
The 8500 series in the start of it is kind of another
Yep.
indicator that we're in the wrong. See if you notice what they call these,
Yep.
they're all 1000 series.
Yep, that's what I noticed here.
Okay.
Is this like this one then? That she gave me?
Same thing.
Yeah.
How many more? All in the fire district?
And see, that one is actually, some of these actually are in the, what did you call that one?
No, that's an 8,000 series account too.
Yep, Holland Fire District is another one that needs
Should
to
be
go.
there. Yeah, I believe so.
So when you enter in these expenses, do you click and choose If it comes from general funds, if it comes from this one, do you, or does it automatically do it, does the software automatically do it?
No, we put it in ourselves, but these ones, Connie had gave me as is, so,
Okay.
Yep.
Are these the only two?
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So when we approve these bills, we want to have these removed.
Yeah, don't, yeah,
I mean, it'll take a motion to remove.
yeah, because they need to come out of, this grouping, not
Yeah.
that.
Well, remove them for now, and they can be put in, the auditor can put them where it needs to be, so when we need a
Yeah.
motion,
Did you guys understand that?
we'll motion that.
There's the funds that are like the Historical Society and the other another ambulance, that comes out of a different pocket than, and it accidentally got coded into the general fund expense. So she's just gonna have to move them over to here. So when we make the motion, we'll just have to take those two off. Just have to make
And
sure.
then the next time they'll show up in the next.
They'll show up
information
on this,
Correctly.
on this page.
So the entities,
Right.
we're just a pass-through for that. They have their own taxing authority, their own levy authority. We could just collect the money for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why they always have a negative balance on them. Negative balance means that's what we owe them,
Yeah, we'll
and
just-
that'll eventually get to zero.
All the township funds.
The general fund budgets and the special budgets, we levy through this entity, and those have a budget amount put into them. They have a positive.
Here's another one that Annie wanted me to question. This repairs and maintenance, but it should be more insurance reserve or. There's damage to the.
Damage to the sheriff's, what was that? Repairs and maintenance rear door?
Somebody backed into the car at some point,
Okay.
broke a tail light, and that did a little bit of ding on the paint.
Oh, Lord.
So insurance reserve covered up to a certain dollar amount, then what's left comes out of our insurance fund. All we do with it is get the car fixed and present the bills. The check came in quite some time ago, is my understanding.
And we coded it out of what account is that? Sheriff's repairs and
Yep.
maintenance? Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Those usually don't come out of the sheriff's repairs,
No,
no insurance fund. To my knowledge, that's how it's always been, there's an insurance fund that used to come out of. Now where it is now, I don't know, John.
I don't know that either. Sam would know that, of course. So let's take this one out for now. Who's the check written to?
It's Cooper Collision.
Let's authorize the payment, put a note in here, and we can recode it, and we figure out so they get paid. These are the only two you gotta worry about if someone's gonna make a motion.
All right, I can make the motion. But I also have a question on that too. The state tax treasurer, that's
Yeah.
also another 800 one. But that one isn't that's, what is that state tax expense? It's in the state treasurer for the 15,000. What is that? I don't know if I've ever noticed it before or not. I'm just being oblivious or overthinking. Now that you got me looking at GL codes, that
That's this one?
it's the 801. Is that's a,
That's the 911 wireless estate tax medical
medical,
center levy.
okay.
So that's also an 800 series. We're just collecting this state tax medical center levy.
This is where this filters through us.
Yeah,
That one too?
Yeah, and so was the domestic violence one.
That one's not on here though. I think the domestic violence one must have been put over here.
No, I think it got all put into this one. I think it all got put into the lumped into the state treasurer.
I've got 15,000, oh, the 1877. But that one's an expense, that one's a GL expense of a 21, which is a regular expense. Siren expense, 911 siren expense.
Yeah,
Which
of
you- of course you see.
1877.
So that's probably correct. It's probably the 800, blah, 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 should be the filter through. Like this. Will you double check that too? I'm sorry.
let's remove that one. Let's remove,
There's no due dates on those, are there?
let's remove that one too.
And then just check with Sam and.
Okay.
How about if I just read this off and ask for a motion?
Oh, here, I got it right here. I make a motion to approve the expenses minus the state treasurer for 15,052.34, minus Talna Fire District for 305.79, minus McHenry Ambulance Service for 2,052.04.
Okay. Motion by Edlin to approve the bills as presented, with the exception of the state tax medical center levy and domestic violence 911 wireless in the amount of 16,929.34, excluding the Talna Fire District in the amount of 305.79, and excluding the McHenry Ambulance Service in the amount of 2,052.04. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second by Tranby. As we're dealing with funds here, this will be a roll call vote. Averill.
Aye.
Tranby.
Aye.
Edlin.
Aye.
Wakefield votes aye. Motion to approve the payment of bills is passed.
It's a learning curve.
If you'll have a look at the monthly office reports. Bob, you can be on right after that then, huh?
Okay, I'll be quick.
Okay. Okay, Bob. What do you got to tell us about grants?
Okay,
Let's approve the monthly reports,
we have
right?
to do the reports first.
Well, he's in with the monthly reports, aren't you?
What's that?
No,
This
it's
this is a monthly
this is
report.
separate.
You want it in with the monthly
I
report,
can
with
do
the
that,
office
but I
reports, or
have
you want it
nothing else right
separate?
now, so it's up to you guys.
Oh,
I thought he was just in on,
the grant part? Or we add the grant for itself?
right, and that's just a report.
It's just a real brief thing. I
Okay.
He's telling us, yeah.
So, you want me to go or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I put it in with the monthly office.
The county has, with all their counties, the state received a request from the North Dakota DES through the state, a grant money out there for a grant that was coming down, and it was a very, very, very narrow window. The grant is the North Dakota State and Local Cyber Security Grant Program. It had a very narrow scope on what was gonna be allowed for that grant. So Travis and I went through quick and put together the things that we needed to fit in there. And what they allowed us on the grant was, the network switches for the computer program, or for a computer system in the courthouse, one of which has been down for a bit. That was 40,000, and then it was the two-factor authentication process to satisfy the state connectivity. The county received, as the federal portion of this, that total came to 50,500. County received 45,450. There's a sub-recipient cost share of 5,580. That looks like it is going to be picked up by the legislature. It's already went through half of the legislature. It went through crossover. I think the Senate approved it. Now it's going to the House, and so they'll be picking up the remaining 5,500 or $5,050.
Okay.
So
So this is gonna involve a vote, so let's get the monthly office reports approved
Okay.
first, because it's gonna be separate from that.
That's what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
I didn't know it was gonna involve, I thought it was just
okay,
an update.
so
So just wait a minute, do I have a motion to approve the monthly office reports?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Tranby to approve the monthly office reports, second by Averill. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Monthly office reports
Okay.
approved. Now, Bob, continue on with
Okay.
the rest of the report that involves us giving permission for something. I
Okay,
imagine.
so as of right now, I'm not asking for permission on anything, I'm bringing this to your attention. The legislature's got another month left, and at some point, this is gonna go through in the next 2 weeks. So I can come to the next meeting and give you the final on this, I just wanna know, it's either gonna be zero cost to Griggs County, or it'd be 5,000, it costs the county 5,000 of a $50,000 bill.
Right, but you're looking for retroactive permission to apply for the grant.
So, or don't you need any?
Do we need grant permissions to apply for grants?
Sure, if it involves county money that's gonna have to be involved with it, absolutely.
Right, so I think we can do that at the next meeting. And it's up to us to be the final recipient, or to you guys to be the final
Yeah.
recipient of it, so I just wanna give you a heads up on it, and then by that time, we'll have everything in place. We'll know what the cost is gonna be, if there's gonna be a cost.
Sure.
The way it's looking right now, the indication from the legislature is there'll be no cost in county.
Yep.
Is there any other grants out there for you guys to apply for?
We just got some more active, one just came in this week.
We like grants. Good job.
So, this one just came to us, wasn't even requested, it just come down the pipe through Jamie's office, so,
Okay, thanks, Bob.
all right?
Thank you.
So there's no action on the grant that was, as it turns out, that was part of the monthly office reports. Where are we at here?
Road superintendent.
Road. Wayne, what do you have for us?
Anybody have any power over the weather?
No.
Well, I have got some pretty good news. We received a deposit from FEMA for, this is the first money we've received for the 2022 disaster. And it's to the county, $54,835. Total expenses were $64,512.71.
Were these all road department expenses?
Yes.
Okay. So did the money go to the general fund or to the, originally? I
Well,
mean,
first it goes into the flood.
okay, they're still running it
It
through
has
the
to go
flood?
into the 2022 flood disaster. And then
We should relabel that.
well, it isn't even got a label yet.
No, but I mean, that flood, we should relabel it disaster or something, or FEMA
Yeah.
disaster, or,
It's snow and flood-related
yeah.
disaster is what it is,
you know,
you know.
by how many flood
It's
accounts?
DR
we have.
4660.
Okay.
That's the number of it.
Okay.
And so that's the first one, which is great. There's like 6 townships, I think, that will still have some money coming.
And that will come through the county, then distributed to the
It
township?
comes through the treasurer, it
Yeah.
goes into the treasurer's office, then the treasurer.
We'll distribute it the same way?
Yeah, I've been getting deposit slips directly from DES. It says they've sent it to the treasurer.
Right, but then what account did it go
It
into
goes
from
in-
there?
I don't know. It has to go into the 2022 disaster, or whatever you wanna call it.
Whatever funds we got for that, to be able to cover those expenses, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this was actual work completed, this is work that county, we had completed, replaced a couple culverts, one down by Scott's and went up on the hill there. Big cement one, we got rid of that big cement one, put in a steel culvert. And then there's gravel washes and stuff like that. So when I do that, I have to do how many hours workforce account, labor, materials, and equipment. And that's how they calculate, using their numbers for the equipment costs and stuff, so. Took a long time because it's soon a year since it was April. when the disaster was.
Yep.
But then there's more coming. And the prairie dog funds came in, $923,461.64. That's for the road department, highway department. Then I believe in your report, it shows that each township got $9,160.53, and I believe that was prairie dog
Mhm.
Okay.
funds for the townships. So that'll help.
So that prairie dog funding should go into a separate
It is.
special budget, because we don't wanna put it into the yearly budget, because then it'll affect the
Yeah.
carryover and the reserve. So it needs to go into a special prairie dog budget.
Yeah, it's in that fund, so it isn't really in our budget until.
No, it never will be in the road department budget. It'll be in a standalone budget. That money can be transferred to the road department as needed, so it's not
Yeah.
subject to the yearly budget
Right.
calculations.
Yeah.
Because $900,000 into your budget would dictate that there's no levy
Correct.
for that,
Right.
for that year. So we need to put it over, because that isn't a 1-year deal, that's for
That's
multi-year
for 2
anyway.
years,
Yeah,
yep.
or 4 or 5, we don't know.
It has to be spent by a certain time.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
But-
money, otherwise they say, well.
it's not guaranteed, yeah, and we can easily do that, but we need to get it off to the side first.
So the guidelines for that's a lot easier than a lot of the
Yeah,
federal money.
yeah.
You just have to send a report in every even year is when you have to send a report.
And that was earmarked especially for the road department, or were there other departments able to use that money?
It's just for.
Just for-
Yeah,
Really?
well, that's that. And of course, we've been battling the snow every other day.
Right.
Sounds like more coming.
You guys are gonna be busy this spring.
And that leads to more. That's why they wanted to get this disaster completed before the next one comes.
Yeah.
And it's taken so long. We had that one gal, and then she got called off to a different disaster. So then a new one took over, started over from the beginning, so.
Okay.
From that, I guess. Is there some way you could stop the deaths?
The what?
DEATHS, there's been so many deaths. So that,
I see the corner was 20 you applied for.
Yeah.
Cushman did, yeah.
I think you gotta talk to the same guy about the snow. I don't think he's sitting or she's sitting here anywhere. Bob, you got a question? Not gonna advocate for something now.
No, I was
Okay.
gonna say on that flood, on those
Yeah.
flood accounts, historically, what, those flood accounts stayed in place.
Yep.
Until the closeout, that's,
Yep.
then when they close out the,
And would
that
roll them
particular,
in.
yeah.
sometimes it's 5 years,
It would,
it would drag on, then we would delete them.
it would be nice if, and you're sure all that Prairie Dogs money earmarked for the road department. It sure would be
Well,
nice if we
it-
could
It says for.
get some of it to the sheriff's department for vehicles. That would work out
Well,
well.
when I looked at the
You could
thing,
use that COVID money
it
for
said
that,
for,
probably.
when I looked at the thing, it showed for like infrastructures, like for dirt work,
Roads and bridges.
bridges, gravel, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. It was
yeah.
pretty specific, on that one. That's how I read it, so.
Yeah.
In
Well,
other meetings, I've had all the documentation that explains what it's
Yeah.
for, and it's not for sheriff's vehicles.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could use that COVID money probably for that.
True.
well, I mean, those kind of monies need to be, it would be nice to spread some of this around if we could.
Well, you can't.
So we'll have to look into that. Anything else with the road department?
So, a question on that then. Do we, we have an account for that money to go in to designate it for what we need for, or do we have to create an account on that? That's what my question is. Kind of like you were saying with the other account.
No, it'll go into a budget account.
Okay.
That will, I mean, for right now, it's just it's accounted for in the treasury.
Okay.
We'll, in order to keep that money outside of the budget process, not outside the budget process, outside of the levy process, we'll put it into a special account, a S3 or a C account.
That's why I was asking. So like you said, you don't want to put it in with the regular budget and have it screwed up or whatever.
Well, it wouldn't go into the budget this year. The budget's set for this year.
Yeah.
It would be accounted for in the following year.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want it to go to an account and say, well, we got all this money, we can't budget for whatever else. That's what I was
Well, I mean,
asking.
we gotta look at how it's intended to be used. If it is just strictly for if it's strictly for the road department, it is gonna offset levy.
Okay.
So it's going to reduce, I mean, that was the purpose of it, it's going to reduce the amount of money that the taxpayers pay to the road department, because the road department budget is now gonna be buoyed by the money coming into it. That was the purpose of it, is to offset levy. That's the whole purpose of the prairie dog funds. It wasn't for the county to take the money and levy the same amount and spend more money. It was to give something back to the taxpayers. Natural resources in North Dakota were deemed owned by all taxpayers. So that's why I was wondering if it could be spread out. It would make it easier than putting the whole burden or the whole loss of levy onto the road department, because that's what it'll eventually do as it comes in. Because we can only levy what we need to spend. We can't levy over and above and have a big reserve built up.
Okay.
But that'll be at budget time. That's
Operation Prairie Dog allocates $250 million of oil and gas tax revenue, providing them to infrastructure funds.
yeah. So we'll research that, and come budget time, we'll decide how that money's gonna be dispersed in the best interest of the taxpayers. So, anything else in the road department?
Nope.
Okay.
Maintain.
Moving on, the treasurer's office update has been removed. I would imagine Harold Rotunda audit update is there's no information on that.
Did Sam ever get back and submit the 2018 to 22 audits, like, to the state she was gonna?
I don't know that.
I think so.
I can always call
Well,
him
we
too.
can put that on the future, on the business for next agenda. So those two items, there's nothing to, we'll move both those treasurer's office update and the CPA Harold Rotunda audit update to the next meeting or in future business when we get to that, if you guys prefer, or I can put it on the agenda for next meeting either way. Township Officers Association Commission update. I'm not sure what that means.
That's on March.
You know, I know the meeting, but what does a commission update mean?
I suppose that if remember they asked who's gonna show up for it, you know?
Yep.
And I won't be there, I have a doctor's appointment, so I won't be
Okay.
there on that day, so. There's more than 2-3 of us, it's gotta be noticed.
Yep.
Last time you said to notice it anyway. You
Yep.
told Sam
Notice
to
it
say
anyway, just
noticed
that
it
way you
anyway.
don't have to, if someone wants to show
Exactly.
up first. Okay.
So anyway, but I don't,
So, we'll just be there to answer, I'll be there to, there's nothing really they need out of us. They might ask us a question here and there, but there's nothing really. They operate independently.
but we'll be there to take questions. Right.
Basically, yeah. Yep. So, we've got that covered. Someone will be there for sure. And
Yeah.
that's at what time?
1:30 on the 14th, right?
Yeah, no, it's 14th, it's on the 14th.
14th, yeah,
It's the
14th, yeah.
1:30.
Tuesday, 14th at
Yeah.
1:30, right?
Yep.
Let me just have a little look here. Yeah, but traditionally the county commission hasn't had any, like I said, we just go there and sit and listen to it. Okay, so we got that covered. Anybody, it's going to be noticed, so anybody that wants to go from the commission can certainly go. Is welcome. New courthouse, old courthouse.
Somebody fixed those windows up in it.
Yeah, he did it right away.
Who did?
Brian.
Oh, did he?
Really?
Yep, he called me the next day and he said he got it fixed. It's been a couple of times since he did it. Brian's awesome. He does such a
Oh,
good
I
job.
drove around the other day and I'm like, look at him, like, I don't see these broken windows.
He,
So the stairs inside there are still usable?
yeah, he went inside and
Boarded it up.
fixed it up.
Good deal. Anything else in the old courthouse? New courthouse? Bob, the fire system's working?
So far, so good. We'll be back, I think, in May or June to do that 5-year. Now that you had at one of your meetings, I guess it's talked about.
Future business. We want the treasurer's office update and update on Harold Rotunda on the future business.
Do you want to add upcoming expenses? Did you want to add this?
No, that's a budget item. That'll be, that's discussed at budget.
And then
We don't have any way to even act on money spent until we get into the budget cycle.
The bills we're waiting on to pay that we were questioned, that's gonna be automatically
They'll-
changed next week, or next meeting?
They'll show up on next meeting.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. So if I could have a motion to add the items you want to the future business. Right now, we have the treasurer's office update and Harold Rotunda audit update,
And then the audit,
2018 audit.
18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 audits uploaded to
The next
the
meeting.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Sam was supposed to get them all and from Harold and upload them herself.
So let's just have it Harold Rotunda audit update, because he's doing it.
Like, he's doing it, but he's not uploading them though.
Well, I know, but we'll be able to ask where they're at and what's happening with it.
Okay.
I mean, all we're trying to do is just be able to ask the question.
Okay.
So, the future business is the treasurer's office update and update on all audits associated with Harold Rotunda. I could have a motion to that effect. To add to the future business.
What are we discussing under the treasurer's office update? What is that going to be discussed?
That's what's gonna be discussed. Is it back in
Are we going to be-
operation? I mean, just general.
Are you gonna be, let Maddie know so she can come in and discuss that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just
Okay.
general discussion, just see what has happened with the treasurer's office since we okayed the money that we gave to them. Is it
Okay.
back up and functioning? Is what's going on?
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
Or if you prefer that we put those on the agenda via the chairman, either way, however you wanna do it.
We could just try and see what the update is next meeting, and if there's still no answer, maybe from there decide on when would be best to find out.
No, what we're trying to do now is to put this onto the agenda. Do you wanna do it the traditional way and have the chairman do it?
Oh,
Or do you want to vote on the agenda items for the future business? That's what that whole future business agenda item is for adding something that the whole group might want to discuss next time. If we just instruct without any vote on it, we can just instruct the auditor to carry over the treasurer's office update and the Harold Rotunda audit update, and then I'll just approve it. Either way you want to do it.
I make a motion to adjourn.
So we're still discussing the future business. What do you want to do on the future business? It's an open agenda item. Is there any future business?
Just that, as far as I know, that audit update. So
Yeah.
could we vote?
If you don't do anything on it, it's going to end up on the agenda anyway.
Oh,
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
This is just for something that maybe that I didn't think should be on the agenda and you guys thought should be on there. There's a way, what I'm saying, to get something that you want on the agenda on
Right.
there.
So
And-
we
and
just
I
now-
didn't know if that, I
Yep.
hadn't explained that to you. So far, that's never been a problem with anything all through the whole time I've been here.
So just
10
not
years,
worry,
but that
worry about
is-
it, and it'll be pushed off to the next
Right,
meeting.
if you discuss it, if we
Right.
tell the auditor to put it on there, it'll be on there, because I'll approve it. And if it's not, then, so, okay. So, that's the end of future business. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Don't move.
Motion by Edlin to adjourn, seconded.
You beat me, of course.
Seconded by Tranby. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned at 3:24 PM. Next meeting, March 23rd at 2:30 in this room.